You're not overspending on anything big. No wild purchases, no shopping sprees. And somehow money still disappears every single month. It's not one big leak, it's 14 small ones, and most of them are hiding in plain sight. Today, I'm covering all 14, then running a real numbers case study so you can see exactly what fixing them is worth. Stick around for number 9. It's the one that sounds harmless but adds up faster than almost any other. We'll also bust a couple of myths people get wrong about cutting these habits without feeling deprived. We tend to obsess over big financial mistakes and completely ignore the small, repeated ones. But a small leak repeated every month for a year adds up to real money, often more than one big splurge would. Quick note, these are common spending patterns, not personalized financial advice for your specific situation. Most budgeting advice focuses on visible spending, the big purchases you remember. These 14 habits live in the invisible category. None of these are about extreme frugality. They're about noticing money that leaves without you making an active decision. Let's start with habit number 1. Subscriptions you forgot you even signed up for, still quietly charging you every month. Streaming services, apps, memberships, the average person is subscribed to more services than they can actually name from memory. Free trials are the biggest culprit. They convert to paid automatically, and the cancellation window quietly closes. A single forgotten $9.99 subscription costs almost $120 a year, and most people have more than one. Fix, scroll through your last 2 bank statements and circle every recurring charge you don't immediately recognize. Cancel what you don't use. You can always resubscribe later if you actually miss it. Habit number 2, delivery fees, service fees, and convenience charges that quietly inflate every order. A $15 order can easily become $22 once delivery service and tip are added. That's nearly 50% extra. This isn't about never ordering delivery. It's about noticing how often small convenience costs turn into a real monthly expense. If this happens 2 or 3 times a week, those markup fees alone can total more than a car payment over a year. Fix, batch your orders or pick up in person when it's realistic. The savings on fees alone add up fast. At minimum, actually look at the fee breakdown before confirming. Most people check out without ever reading it. Habit number 3, overdraft fees, monthly maintenance fees, and ATM fees from using the wrong machine. A single overdraft can cost $35 or more for being short by just a few dollars. Out-of-network ATM fees typically charge you twice, once from the ATM, once from your own bank. That's often $5 to $6 lost just to access your own money from the wrong machine. Fix, most banks let you set low balance alerts, and many now offer fee-free overdraft grace periods if you ask. A quick search for your bank's in-network ATM locator can eliminate this cost almost entirely. Habit number 4, the extra items and add-ons offered right at checkout. Warranties, insurance, frequently bought together suggestions. These prompts are specifically designed to catch you in a moment when you've already decided to spend. Extended warranties in particular are often poor value. The cost frequently outweighs the actual likelihood of needing it. Fix, treat every checkout add-on as a separate purchase decision, not part of the original one. Ask if you'd buy this specific item on its own at this exact price if it weren't offered as an add-on. Most of the time, the honest answer is no. Habit number 5, groceries that get thrown away because they went bad before you used them. Studies on household food waste consistently find a significant share of groceries purchased are never actually eaten. That's not a small line item. It's essentially paying full price for food, then paying again to throw it away. Fix, a simple weekly meal plan before you shop dramatically reduces impulse grocery buys that go unused. Freezing items before they spoil, instead of after you've already decided to toss them, recovers a surprising amount. Shopping with a specific list, rather than browsing aisles, is one of the simplest ways to cut this waste. Habit number 6, late fees on bills that were fully payable, just paid a few days too late. A single late payment can trigger a $25 to $40 fee on top of potential interest and credit score impact. This is one of the easiest habits to eliminate completely. Autopay for at least the minimum due removes the risk entirely. Setting autopay for the minimum, then manually paying more when you can, protects you from ever missing a payment by accident. If you've avoided autopay because you don't trust it, a simple reminder a few days before each due date works nearly as well. Either way, this is a cost that's almost entirely avoidable with a 5-minute setup. Habit number 7, small daily purchases, coffee, snacks, vending machine items that feel too small to matter. A $5 daily purchase adds up to over $1,800 a year, enough to matter, even though each individual purchase feels tiny. This isn't about cutting out coffee entirely. It's about noticing how many small daily habits are running on autopilot. Fix. Track every small purchase for just 1 week. Most people are surprised by the total once it's added up. From there, it's not about eliminating everything. It's about keeping the ones you genuinely value and cutting the ones that are just habit. A useful test. Would you still buy this if you had to actively decide each time instead of doing it automatically? Habit number 8, memberships and services paid for monthly but rarely or never actually used. Gym memberships are the classic example, but this applies to meal kits, subscription boxes, and premium app tiers just as often. The psychology here is specific. Paying for something can feel like progress, even when the actual usage never follows. Fix. A quick, honest audit, when did you actually use this last, usually reveals which ones are worth keeping. Downgrading to a pay-per-use option, or a cheaper tier, often covers the same actual usage for a fraction of the cost. The goal is paying for what you actually use, not for the version of yourself you intended to become. Habit number 9, buying something specifically because it's on sale, not because you actually needed it. A discount only saves money if you were already planning to buy the item. Otherwise, you didn't save anything. You spent something new. Retailers know this. Sale framing is specifically designed to make spending feel like the smart, responsible choice. This is often how closets and drawers fill up with things that were too good a deal to pass up, but rarely get used. Fix. Before buying anything because it's discounted, ask whether you would have wanted it at full price. If it wasn't already something you were planning to buy, the discount usually isn't the win it feels like. Habit number 10, staying on the same phone plan, internet plan, or insurance policy for years without ever comparing rates. Providers often reserve their best rates for new customers, while existing customers quietly pay more over time. A short call asking to match a competitor's rate, or simply asking what promotions are available, works more often than people expect. Fix. Set a yearly reminder to review your recurring bills, phone, internet, insurance, and shop or negotiate at least once. Even a modest rate reduction, applied across several bills, adds up to real annual savings for very little effort. Habit number 11, paying full price for purchases that could have earned cashback, points, or a discount with almost no extra effort. Most people already own a card or app that offers some form of cashback or rewards, and simply don't use it consistently. This isn't about applying for every new card offer. It's about actually using the reward structure you already have access to. On a few $1,000s of annual spending, even a modest cashback rate adds up to real money left on the table. Fix. A free browser extension or a cashback app that automatically checks for available offers before you check out takes the effort out of it. The key is checking before the purchase, not remembering to claim it after. Most people lose out simply by forgetting. Habit number 12, energy and water waste from small daily habits. Lights left on, devices left plugged in, thermostats left unadjusted. Many electronics draw a small amount of power even when turned off, sometimes called phantom or standby load. Individually, each device draws very little. Combined across a household, it becomes a measurable slice of your monthly bill. Fix. A smart power strip for electronics, and a few degrees of thermostat adjustment when you're not home are simple structural fixes. Neither requires ongoing effort once it's set up, but that's what makes this different from habits that require daily willpower. A one-time setup that keeps paying off every single month is one of the highest leverage fixes on this entire list. Habit number 13, consistently buying name brand versions of everyday items without ever comparing to the generic or store brand alternative. For many household staples and over-the-counter items, the generic version is manufactured to nearly identical specifications at a lower price. This doesn't apply to everything. Some brand differences genuinely matter, But for a lot of categories, the premium is paying for packaging and marketing. A small per item difference, repeated across a weekly grocery trip for a year, adds up more than it seems in the moment. Fix. Pick 2 or 3 categories where you've never actually compared and try the generic version once. If you can't tell the difference, that's a permanent savings. If you can, you've lost nothing but learned where the premium is actually worth it. Habit 14, the quietest one of all. Not planning for expenses that aren't monthly, but are still predictable. Car repairs, gifts, annual fees, holidays. When these hit unplanned, they often go straight onto a credit card, turning a one-time cost into an ongoing interest expense. Fix. A small monthly transfer into a separate irregular expenses fund turns predictable but occasional costs into something already planned for. List last year's irregular expenses, divide the total by 12, and that's roughly what to set aside each month. This single fix quietly protects several of the other 13 habits. A lot of impulse and convenience spending happens specifically when people are caught off guard. Once irregular expenses stop being surprises, a lot of the panic-driven spending that follows them disappears too. It's a small habit that makes several of the other fixes easier to stick with. Let's put all 14 habits into a single real numbers example. Picture a household earning $60,000 a year with no major debt, who feels like they're already being responsible with money. Unused subscriptions, roughly $180 a year. Delivery and convenience fees, ordering twice a week, roughly $600 a year. Bank and ATM fees, around $120. Checkout add-ons and warranties they didn't need, another $150. Grocery waste alone, at a modest estimate, nearly $900 a year. 1 or 2 late fees, around $80. Small daily purchases, $1,800. An unused gym membership and 1 forgotten subscription box, another $300. Sale trap purchases bought only because they were discounted, roughly $400. Unnegotiated phone and insurance bills, another $200 in savings missed. Skipped cashback, about $60. Wasted utilities from phantom load and an unadjusted thermostat, $150. Unnecessary brand premium, roughly $100. Add it all up, and this fairly ordinary household is looking at roughly $5,000 a year, over $400 a month, leaking out in small, barely noticed amounts. None of these 14 habits are dramatic on their own. That's exactly why they're so easy to miss. Redirected into investing instead, even at modest historical average returns, that same amount over 10 years can grow into a genuinely significant sum. Before we recap, let's clear up 2 common myths about fixing these habits. Myth 1, cutting these habits means giving up coffee, delivery, and anything fun. Not true. The goal is removing the automatic, unnoticed spending, not eliminating every purchase that brings you enjoyment. Myth 2, small habits like these don't really matter compared to bigger decisions like a mortgage or a career choice. Big decisions matter enormously, but small leaks are often the only category most people have direct, immediate control over every single day. Myth 3, you need to tackle all 14 habits simultaneously to see any real benefit. Fixing even 3 or 4 of the highest impact ones, daily purchases, grocery waste, and subscriptions, for example, often recovers most of the total. Myth 4, tracking down these leaks requires complicated spreadsheets or budgeting expertise. Most of what we covered today takes one afternoon to review, a couple bank statements, a subscription list, and a few honest questions. Subscriptions, delivery fees, bank fees, checkout add-ons, grocery waste, late fees, and small daily purchases. Unused memberships, sale trap purchases, unnegotiated bills, skipped cashback, wasted utilities, brand premium, and no buffer for irregular expenses. Fix even 3 or 4 of these 14 habits, and most people free up real money without changing their lifestyle in any way that feels like a sacrifice. If this helped, hit subscribe. I break down one real money strategy like this every week. Tell me in the comments which of these 14 is costing you the most. I'll reply to as many as I can. See you in the next one.